guys, it's me, and today I'm here with the movies I saw in the months of April and May. I combined to 2 months because in April I only watched one movie, so you know. And yeah, I'm sorry if I'm a little bit low energy in this video, but I just finished like a really long study session because exams are coming up, so yeah, I'm exhausted. But I need to get this video up today and I haven't filmed yet, so we're here and we're doing this. Let's begin. The first movie I saw in the month of April, so the only movie I watched in the month of April, is Star Wars The Clone Wars, which came in 2018, and I give 2 out of 5 stars. After the Republic's victory of Christophsis, Anakin and his new apprentice Ashoka, I've heard that name so many times, yet I can't pronounce it, Ahsoka Tano must rescue the kidnapped son of Jabba the Hutt. Political intrigue complicates their mission. So I apologize for mispronouncing probably everything in that little sentence, but oh well. But I watched this because I wanted to get into the Clone Wars TV show, and I've watched like episode and a half of that. So, but I probably think like I should go back to like the beginning because I wasn't in a right state of mind when I was watching it, so I don't remember anything from it. But yeah, I watched this movie and I wasn't paying like the closest attention to it. So yeah, maybe that was my fault for being confused at some moments, or maybe just my memory of Star Wars stuff just isn't that great as I thought, which, you know, wouldn't surprise me. But I really liked the animation style actually in this movie, which it isn't the typical style that I like, but I still really liked it, and I quite like the characters in this, which I've seen in reviews that compared to the TV show, like Ahsoka's character in this is bad. So I'm excited to get to the TV show because I quite liked her in this. So yeah, and I don't know, I thought it was like a fun adventure, like trying to rescue the son of Jabba the Hutt, but then like the politics behind it of like the Clone Wars and everything, that didn't interest me. So yeah, 3 stars. I don't have a lot to say about it. Then moving on to movies I watched in May, which is quite a bit. Most of them are rewatches. So yeah, the first one being Cinderella, which came out in 1950, and I give 2 out of 5 stars. No, 3.5 out of 5 stars. And this was a rewatch, like I said. When Cinderella's school stepmother prevents her from attending the royal ball, she gets some unexpected help from the lovable mice Gus and Jacques and her fairy godmother. I shouldn't know how to pronounce Jack, that was the one. I watched this movie, I don't know, what took me a bit to get that name right, but I watched this a part of my Watching My Calendar series, so I have a video for it, which I'll leave the playlist to these videos in the description so you can go check it out. But I really enjoyed this movie, which I wasn't expecting, because like I'm very familiar with the story of Cinderella and it's never really been one of my favorites, and I remember having seen this movie as a kid, but like not to an extent where I was like, yeah, this was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I was like constantly watching it. That was not it. So yeah, I was surprised to find myself liking it. I mean, it's still a 3.5, so I didn't love it. You know, I still think like these old Disney movies are just a little bit like slow paced and like the characters are very one-dimensional, but I still had a fun time with this movie. And this was one, normally in these older Disney movies I also feel like the plot kind of like drags a little bit. There are moments where like not really a lot is happening and like, why are we doing this, and I get bored at points, and I didn't really have to do in Cinderella. So, you know, compliments to the chef. I really enjoyed it. Go check out my video on it. And then another movie I have a video on is Pinocchio, which came out in 1940, and I give 3.5 out of 5 stars as well. It's another rewatch. A living puppet with the help of a cricket and his conscience must prove himself worthy to become a real boy. So again, that is not one I expected to like that much, because Pinocchio again is another fairy tale that I'm familiar with, like a story I'm familiar with, but like I never really felt that interested in it compared to like other fairy tales. So yeah, but I did quite enjoy it. I really liked the animation in this one. I only didn't like the blue fairy because like I feel like her animation was a little bit different from the rest. I don't know, that bothered me. I felt like the characters were very fun in this one. I feel like they very much jumped off the page, and like they're still one-dimensional characters, but I don't know, they were just like fun to follow around, and I thought were great. The only disappointment I really have with this movie is like the villains. Like, there's so many villains in Pinocchio, and I feel like is it a too many villain problem? That's definitely not it. But I feel like the villains in this are like so boring compared to like Pinocchio and Geppetto and Jiminy Cricket. Like those are like very entertaining character. Even like the cat and the fish were so interesting. And then like for so entertaining, and then like the villains were nothing. This did have a couple of like dull moments in it where I felt like speed things along a little bit. But for the rest, I quite liked it. Then, moving on, I watched Thor Ragnarok, which came in 2017, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It is another rewatch. Imprisoned on the planet Sakaar, Thor must race against time to return to Asgard and stop Ragnarok, the destruction of his world at the hands of the powerful and ruthless villain Hela. I have been in a mood to rewatch like the MCU movies for a while, and like I can't watch all of them. I don't have the time, and also I know that there are certain ones that I don't want to see again because I didn't like them that much. But yeah, I've been like in the mood to rewatch MCU movies, and then I settled on rewatching this one because it's very funny, it's very lighthearted, and I thought I would just have fun with it. And I feel like it kind of works as a standalone movie as well. Like not completely, like don't let this be the only MCU movie you watch, because there are some questions, but I feel like it works well to like watch on its own. It's not immediately like the feel of like, oh, I need to watch once that came before this, or I want a sequel. I mean, I do want a sequel, but Love and Thunder isn't out yet, so that isn't my problem. But yeah, I love this one so much. I bumped it up into my MCU ranking. This was still like one of my favorites, but it was down a couple once. Now it's my second favorite because I love it so much. It's so funny, and that's the thing that draws me the most to the MCU is like the comedy and like how funny the movies are, which I wasn't expecting like going into the MCU for the first time. But they are so entertaining and so funny, most of them. There are some that aren't, and yeah, I feel like the comedy in this one is unparalleled by the entire MCU. Like it's so good, and I love it. A lot of it is improv, which you can tell. Like honestly, these actors just got like their time to shine, and they took it all. Like honestly, I can't pick a best performance in this movie because all of the actors in this were just like, you know what, I'm gonna do my best and I'm gonna succeed at it. Like, oh, it's so good, and yeah, I love it. I also think just like the storyline is very interesting and very fun, and yeah, I like it a lot. And I can't wait for Thor Love and Thunder now, so shut up. And then another movie I watched is Katrien het Ijsprinsesje, which I gave 5 stars. Again, it's on my rewatch. Geen Vluchtcontain invites the members of the Kadri girl band to Fairyland to sing for Princess Fleur because he hopes that Kadri can cheer her up. But as the princess has been cursed by an evil wizard, the trio learns that they are unable to cheer her up. Kadri decides to undo the curse and learn that they need to find out the wizard's real name within 24 hours in order to cancel his curse. Why was that description so complicated for me to say? I don't know. But here we are. This is a movie I grew up on. This is one of the movies that I constantly rewatch. It's still one of my favorite movies. And I rewatch it now and I still absolutely adored it. But I don't know if I love it if I watch it for the first time now. I don't know. But I really love it. The only problem I have with this is that it's a musical movie, so there's like songs throughout it, but like the songs take place in a different setting than the rest of the movie, and it just feels like an afterthought, and I don't like that. Because like all the songs are like perfect, like they're written to fit into the plot perfectly. That's not the problem. But then why are we like pulled out of the story into like this different thing to sing the song and then pushed back in? That doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's my only gripe with this movie. For the rest, I really love it. I think it's so much fun. It explains like a fairy tale inspired world. Like I said, the description says fairyland, and like it feels so fairy tale-esque. I feel like they definitely got that vibe correctly, and it's so much fun. And then all of the side characters, like I love Katrina's movie so, but like all of the side characters are so unique and so much fun, and I just have a blast watching them every single time they're on screen. And yeah, it's funny. It's a very entertaining plot. And yeah, I wonder what I would think of this movie without any nostalgia behind it. But that's how I think about it now. Then moving on to Giuseppe, which came out in 2019. I gave 1 out of 5 stars. A love story between a lonely bar owner and a young African immigrant working in this restaurant leads to scandal and violence in a small Italian town. I didn't like this. This is also very opposite of like the kind of movies I watch, so like take that into consideration. But for a school assignment, we had to like pick between 3 movies to watch and then like make an assignment on it. And only one of them was on Netflix, so I went for that one, which is this one. and I didn't like it. We discussed it in class, and like the opinions around it are like very mixed. Some people really love it, some don't, some are like in the middle. I hated it. It's not for me at all. Then the next movie I watched is How to Be Single, which was 2016. I give 4 out of 5 stars, which is a rewatch. A group of young adults navigate love and relationships in New York City. I really like this movie, and I probably shouldn't, because I can acknowledge that this isn't a great movie. Like, if you comment now or like, oh my god, why did you give it 4 stars? Like, that movie is shite. I get it, but like, I love trash movies. That's the kind of thing I am. This is just one where you know from the beginning where we're gonna end up. And, you know, sometimes you need that. You know, just a movie that you can watch and like don't have to worry about anything. There is no real angst or drama in this. Everything is gonna be totally fine. And I like that. I mean, if you look at this critically, this movie tries to be profound but doesn't ever actually say something profound. You can tell that it tries. I feel like everything about this movie is very like surface level and shallow, and it tries to be profound but it isn't. That's exactly why I love it. But it would be the reasons why other people hate it. Also, it's so of its time. Like, the music throughout this entire movie is so 2016, and I love it so much. So yeah. Moving on to the 2 movies that I watched that weren't rewatches in May. Besides the one I had to watch for class, I just realized it's also not one. So first one being Miss Congeniality, which came out in 2000, and I gave 4 out of 5 stars to. An FBI agent must go undercover in the Miss United States beauty pageant to prevent a group from bombing the event. So I was just in a mood to watch movies, and I came across this one, and Miss Congeniality is one that I've like heard mentioned a lot, but like I've never actually heard what it was about or people thought of it. But yet I still clicked on it when I saw it on Netflix, because why the hell not? And I actually had a great time with this movie. There are some problems with it, but I quite like it, especially like for the time that it was made. I feel like it was very feminist considering the subject matter. And I don't know, I really like that. And yeah, the only thing I kind of wish this movie was leaning a little bit more on like the rom-com, girl power vibes, and less on the crime investigating side. But that's just because I don't really like that kind of movies. So yeah, completely personal preference. Okay, moving on. Last movie is Barbie Princess Adventure, which from 2019. I give 1 out of 5 stars. With new friends in a new kingdom, Barbie learns what it means to be herself, and she trades places with a royal lookalike in this musical adventure. I grew up loving Barbie movies. That's no secret to anyone. I've talked about this before. And a couple of months back, a couple of Barbie movies got added to Netflix, and I watched a bunch of them just because I don't know. I'm an adult now. I want to relive my childhood. Let me. But this is a new one. This one got released last year, and I heard a lot of people talk about it. It wasn't received well. And I was like, you know, these are adults watching this. It's made for kids. Maybe, you know, we're just being critical. We're like, hey, this isn't our Barbie. But no, this was shite. This was really bad. I didn't like this at all. God, how do I even begin to explain why I don't like this? I really love like switching places stories that do people like switch places, like the Princess Switch, like it's called the Princess Switch, right? I always forget the name of it, but like the Vanessa Hudgens movies on Netflix, the Christmas ones, those I love. I love like Barbie has done the storyline a lot before, and I really love those as well. But I don't know, I didn't really like how it was done in this one, because part of what I love about it is that, you know, people don't know about it, and it's a secret, and they gotta hide that from everyone. But like Barbie just like told all of her friends, like, yo, I switched places with a princess, even though like it was part of their agreement to like not tell anyone. They just like told everyone. And like the people that worked for the princess like immediately find out as well. So just like then what's the point of switching places? Because this is just boring now. And then they built this story more to like the modern day times, with Barbie being a vlogger, and the princess is also a big influencer on social media, and like tries to do discussion around that. But I feel like a lot of times when adults try to do that, they're like very preachy and are just like, just fuck phones, they're the worst thing to have ever existed. Like, that's not, no. Like, you can have a healthy relationship with social media and your phone, and I feel like it is more productive to preach that message rather than burn phones in the pits of hell, which is the direction this went. I don't know, I just didn't really like it. The characters were all very flat, which, you know, can expect from a Barbie movie, but I don't know, I was expecting a little bit more. I didn't like any of the songs in this. I watched maybe 2 and then I just started skipping all of them because they did nothing for the story. If you're doing a musical, your song is supposed to like progress the story or express the character's emotions, like do something to me, but it didn't do anything. Just, I don't know, it was boring and I don't like it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of any of these movies you watched, and some of the movies you watched in the months of April and May. And then I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good.
Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should've played it cool.